Okay, let's settle this once and for all. Are you actually an introvert or just someone who likes staying home in your pajamas and watching Netflix? Today I've got 20 signs that will confirm it for you. And trust me, if you find yourself not along to most of these, congratulations, you are officially part of the Introvert Club. Welcome, we have snacks and silence. So I'm an introvert, I'm a proud introvert. I've known since I was young that I was very introverted. So if you've ever wondered if you're an introvert, let's dive into these 20 signs, and yeah, feel free to let me know in the comments how many of these sound like you. Okay, so the first one is you enjoy being alone. And this is a big thing for introverts, and a lot of people think that being alone means you're lonely, and that's not the case at all. We just like our own space. I love my own space. I have a daughter, so having my own space isn't always easy. We spend a lot of time together, but luckily I've got my husband to obviously take her out and give me that time I need just to recharge and have some me time. Next up, we have you feel drained after socialising. This is definitely me. I quite enjoy going out and meeting up with friends, and I'll happily go to an event that's a bit loud or busy or a lot going on. But the thing is, I definitely need to recharge afterwards, and depending on what type of event it is or what I'm doing, how many people were there, I definitely feel drained afterwards, and I feel like I need that alone time. So yeah, if you're an introvert, you will definitely understand this, and you'll feel like your energy has been diminished and it will leave you feeling exhausted, which is completely different to extroverts who actually thrive on socialising and being out and about, doing lots of things. So it's like they're running at a million miles an hour and we're just like taking it slow and steady. We definitely need to come back, and we can't wait to get home. Can't wait to get home and top up on some alone time. Quick tea break. Next we have small talk. Yeah, it doesn't cut it. You need something deeper than small talk. We're not very big on conversation. We can be, quite a lot of us can be. I think when we have something that we want to talk about, we can talk about it for hours and then it'll be hard to shut us up. For us, I think conversation has to mean something. Otherwise it feels like we're giving our energy and it's sort of being wasted on interactions that aren't really doing anything for us. We much prefer sort of personal stories and talking about emotions or things we enjoy, which is 100 times better than surface level chit chat. Okay, so if you're an introvert, you will likely try and avoid noisy, crowded places. I do this often. If a place is really manic and busy, especially if I'm out and about with my daughter or shopping or somewhere that seems very overstimulating, I try and get out and go somewhere quiet and somewhere less overwhelming. I always prefer to be in an environment that's calm and quiet and more laid back. Okay, next up, our friendship groups are quite small, and you'll probably relate to this. Going back to, obviously, we prefer much more meaningful connections, and that goes for our friends as well. So instead of having loads and loads of friends who maybe don't provide that much value to our lives, introverts definitely prefer like more sort of one-on-one quality connections. I think here the motto is like quality over quantity. With friends, it's not about how many friends, it's the value they give, the value they provide to your life. Let's move on to the next one. If you're an introvert, you'd probably rather not be the centre of attention. So when it comes to birthdays or even being asked a simple question in front of like a whole group of people, you probably dread the thought of everyone looking at you, and you probably try to avoid it at all costs, because I know I do. I don't like big parties or anything like that. Like, I much prefer, if I'm having a birthday, a quiet, laid back birthday with just my close family or friends, and that's all I need. So yeah, keep the spotlight away, we don't need it. Next up is writing something is a lot more appealing than speaking it, which is 100% true, especially in this situation right now where I'm trying to talk and I know that if I was writing this down, which I have wrote down in my blog post, it is so much easier writing down words, letting all your thoughts out on paper or on your laptop than it is trying to speak and get your point across. So this is a big one. Introverts normally get called shy, or we're always told
you need to talk more, you need to speak up, or make more of an effort to do this, do that.
A lot of introverts aren't actually shy, and even if you are, that's completely okay, because it's not a sign of introversion, but it's the association that people have with introverts is they think that they're shy and they think that they're antisocial, and that's not the case at all. The main thing I'm just going to point out is that introverts like their own space and they recharge differently to extroverts. You're sensitive. Okay, not every introvert is going to be sensitive, but quite a lot of us are. I know I am. But it also means that you have a lot of empathy for someone. You can relate to people. So I think being sensitive isn't a bad thing. I think it's actually quite a good thing. Another sign is you can focus really well and for a long time. I know I can do this. If I'm sitting down, especially writing or reading, I love things that I can sort of spend hours doing and just enjoy. Even with my daughter, which obviously is not necessarily me having alone time, but just doing something like quiet together, like, I don't know, some drawing or reading together. That I really enjoy that, and once I get into something I can really focus on it. Okay, so have you ever noticed that you have great, perhaps even exceptional attention to detail? That's definitely an introverted trait. Us introverts are very observant. We take everything in, we're the observers and the listeners of the world, and because of this we often spot things that others miss, and we can relate and understand what someone's going through just because we notice things. I've mentioned this already, but we're not just observers. You might be also a people watcher.
I mean, who doesn't love people watching,
I think we actually enjoy it because we can sit back and just take it all in and watch from a distance. It's just our way of trying to understand people. So we observe from a distance because we're trying to figure someone out. Okay, this one's related to work. So you prefer to work alone than with other people. So, yeah. I mean, if you had the choice to work with people or alone, which one would you probably pick? I think a lot of introverts enjoy just doing things by themselves, getting on with it, and just being independent. Next up we have phone calls. Yeah, phone calls, definitely something that an introvert would dread. I don't dread a phone call, but I would much rather, depending on who it is, I like to text or send voice notes. It's just a lot easier and a lot more comfortable for me. Talking to strangers, that's more daunting than it is talking to someone that you actually know. If you're an introvert, you're probably selective about when you socialise, and this comes down to knowing and understanding your energy. I mean, you have to feel up to it, right? You can't just socialise for the sake of it. You can't just do it, because obviously that will only drain your energy even more. If you're an introvert, then you probably like to know when things are happening and where, so that you can actually decide whether you want to go or not. This is a big one. Introverts take time to come out of their shell. It's definitely true. When you first meet someone, it's a bit like, whereas extroverts can sort of be very bubbly and outgoing, we take time to get to know someone and actually show them our true self. And I don't think that's a bad thing. I feel like this is where people perceive introverts as being really shy, but it's not us being shy, it's just us working out the person that we're trying to get to know. A lot of introverts think before they speak. We're not really the type to just say something out of the blue or say something that's on our mind. We like to think about what we're going to say before we say it, and also we like to take in what someone said and sort of analyse it, and then we can think about what we're going to say back. You're a good listener. Introverts are more than happy to sort of sit in the background and take it all in. We're grateful to be heard, but we much prefer to listen and then say what we've got to say. Okay, so I've realised as I've been editing that I've missed a sign of introversion, so I've been editing 19 signs instead of 20, so this is the extra sign included, which is, yeah, if you're an introvert, you're always in your own head. I mean, we're such daydreamers and deep thinkers. We always seem to be away with the fairies, and that's just who we are. We love to really think deeply. Our internal thoughts are so much louder than our external thoughts. We don't like to speak, but our heads are always so loud. I think that's just a big thing about introverts, is we may seem quiet, but there is a lot going on inside our heads. Okay, last but not least, number 20 is lazy or rainy days are like our idea of heaven. If you much prefer them over days where you're out and about doing loads of things, here, there, everywhere, then I will take bets that you are an introvert, because I mean, who can resist duvet days and snacks and books and watching Netflix? And one thing I wanted to touch on before I sort of finish this video is, if you're sort of thinking, oh, I'm not quite this, I'm not quite that, and you're sort of somewhat in the middle, you might have some extroverted traits but also be quite introverted as well, then you, my friend, are probably an ambivert. You are simply in the middle. One way to look at it is a spectrum. So you've got introversion here, extroversion at the other end, and then you've got ambivert, being an ambivert in the middle. You can sort of be anywhere on the spectrum, so you can be more introverted or you can be more extroverted. And you know, I think just embracing who you are, no matter where you fit on that spectrum, is the most important thing. Understanding yourself and really getting to know who you are, I think that's what really matters. And one thing I want to touch on is that being an introvert is definitely not a flaw, and it's not something to see as a weakness. A lot of people do feel like they need to change or feel like they need to be more extroverted, and I think don't need to be more of this or more of that, and we don't need to compare ourselves so much. I think we just need to focus on like who we are. I think introverts bring a lot of depth and thoughtfulness and creativity to the world, and that's a really big thing. So yeah, if you've enjoyed watching this video, then please hit like, please subscribe to my channel. I'd really appreciate the support, and especially if you're a fellow introvert, let me know what sort of videos you'd like to see. Happy to share my knowledge, share my experiences, dive into sort of any related topics. I will catch you on the next video, and yeah, stay introverted, stay inspired, always be your wonderful introverted self.